Welcome back to Night Hacking at Javaland. My name is Yolande Poirier, and my guest is Ixchel. Hi,
Hi.
Ixchel.
Hi.
So, Ixchel, you've actually been part of a big initiative here at Javaland around women and diversity. So what's happening? Give us like an overview of.
Well, you know that diversity is super important
Right.
in our industry. Um, we don't have the greatest numbers, sadly, but we are working on changing that reality. So I'm very happy because as part of the content committee program, we decided to make an effort into bringing speakers or also encouraging newcomers and this topic to be at least in the mind of the developers. So I'm very happy because today we're going to have an awesome speaker. Well, we usually have awesome speakers, let me tell you. For example, in the Women in Tech launch that we are going to have today, we have Heather.
Mhm.
She is from the JCP program. So with her, I love always to talk about because she's a really amazing woman in a very important job and very close to our hearts, Java and its future. So she has always presented us with the options how to get involved into the future of Java.
Mhm.
And the other um, guest that we have, that's quite a surprise this year, is Mariam Jam. She has been working a lot with introducing coding or programming into girls in Africa. So we will hear about those efforts and the amazing results that she's getting. But also, I think she will inspire a lot of people to help because this is something that will change the world,
Mhm.
our lives. It's also providing legacy, like we are trying to get new developers into our industry. And if they come from different countries with different backgrounds, I only see positive things.
So concretely, like, what does the diversity do when you have diverse people in your job, for example, like on a team? Like, what's the concrete benefit of having that?
I see it every single day. For example, I'm a woman, a woman, and also coming from Latin America,
Right.
working in a Swiss company with a lot of German colleagues. So first of all, of course, we see things in a different way. Our upbringing is totally different. Some parts of our education, maybe not different, but how they were like delivered to us can be
Mhm.
different. So how do we see the problem, design um, a solution? It's different and it complements
Mhm.
our discussions, our proposals. So, and we are fairly similar. Now, think about people that were exposed to totally different experiences.
Mhm.
Of course, they will have a completely different perspective. And because technology is super important in the life of everybody, like
Mhm.
there is no single soul on this planet that is not touched by technology.
And we sell product internationally as well,
Yes,
right?
also
So
we need
it's
to focus on our consumers.
yep.
We need to incorporate this idea since the beginning, since the design, since the execution, and then
Mhm.
keep those in mind. For example, there was this interesting article about the face recognition programs that they were unable to recognize some minorities, and it was because they were not trained to identify this kind of faces or colors or whatever.
Right.
So even at that level, even
Right.
by just introducing developers that are saying like you're not training our system, our neural network with people like me.
Right. Right, and it's often like the lack is not intentional, right?
No,
It's just that they just don't think about it, right?
no,
And that's just natural as well.
because the
So
reality is not there, so you
right,
don't see
yeah,
it.
yeah,
I mean, I
that's
cannot blame people for not missing what they don't know.
exactly. Yeah.
They,
Or they're busy with their work. I mean, why should they go out of their ways to and they don't necessarily see the immediate benefit, right? I mean,
yes,
they don't think about it. Other
yes,
things to worry about. I think that's the
yes, and that's fair. And but you need all these people that are able to remind you,
right.
and they have other uh, interests. They have other stories,
Hmm.
and it shows in our work.
So you were part of the committee, right? The
Yes.
conference committee. So you reviewed presentations and so
Yes.
forth, and you
Helping
accepted.
put the program in place.
Right. So tell me what did you do? Because there is also this concern from women that they don't want to be just picked because they are a woman, right? So what were the criteria? How did you make sure that you were fair, but at the same time that you didn't accept someone just based on the fact that I mean? So how did it work? On the fact that they were women.
Yes, of course, we always are welcoming, but our way of welcoming is like encourage people since the jokes. Like we are
Okay.
trying to go into the jokes, the people that are attending, and we try to encourage them there. Like you should submit, we can help you. We have this mentor program where you say, I want to talk about this, or even you don't have a specific topic, and then we will find somebody for you, and you can deliver or you can start working on the abstract, on the slides with the help of an experienced speaker. So as you see, it has nothing to do with gender at that point.
Right.
It's more about like we need new blood,
Yep.
and we all know that we need to bring a different perspective to well-known topics or to new topics. So we have been fortunate enough that we don't have to like do a force bias towards we are going to
Right.
pick women just because they are women, because that's not the message that we
That's
want to send. And actually in the one of the workshops for the future of Javaland, we were discussing about how do we even encourage this more. So we were thinking, even if it requires more effort to the content committee program, to do a blind review first, even if that requires that we go back again after we reveal the name of the speakers. So that's because we want that. We
Mhm.
want to start reading the abstracts, the titles. We want to provide feedback without not knowing who is submitting the
Yeah.
talk.
So, but did you see a difference between in language, or do you think that you wouldn't be able to identify, like, if the speaker was a woman or not,
Well,
or maybe more senior or less senior, like based
yes.
on the abstract, right? Because I mean,
Based on the abstract, it's easier to, or sometimes because they put it in the abstract, it's easy to identify the level or what is going to be like the intentional depth that they are trying to achieve in the session. But gender, it has been known. I mean, there's a lot of articles and blogs about that we do in certain languages. We can advertise in some way our gender by the way we write.
right.
But what I have seen is we are getting better at that. As women, we sometimes identify that maybe we are not as assertive
Mm-hmm. Or straightforward.
or
We can
straightforward.
tend to.
Yes.
Yep.
But fortunately enough, there are tools outside that will try to like this is somewhere somehow biased. This is and they can make suggestions.
And I think the key that you said also is to work with the jugs, to have a mentoring program. So because everybody needs to understand like how to write an abstract, and
Yes,
once you have the training, then basically you know like the format, and this actually reduce also like I mean
yes.
the hurdle. Right.
Because remember, as a content committee program, we have a difficult task. First of all, we want to create a program that is useful. I mean, we want our audiences to experience something interesting. They want to be in our conferences because they're going to learn. And we are all about sharing the knowledge, improving the developer's experience. How do we help you create better software? We're all about that.
Right.
But we still have to think about the different topics
Yep.
that are going to be interesting for you right now, also provide you where the trends are going, what the industry is moving towards, so you can also
Mhm.
prepare for the future. So we have to have this in mind.
Yep.
We also want to add topics that are probably not very focused on technology, but they are orthogonal or sometimes additional to technology, but are really, really important for you.
Mhm.
Or we try to keep it as a community activity, like, for example, ergonomics. Are you sitting down correctly when you are coding? No, yes. What are the impacts, etc., etc.? So these are things that are important
Yeah.
and doesn't have anything to do with the latest library or framework or whatever.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, there are tons of topics I could think of. Testing, for example, it's not very high valued in. I don't know. I mean, testing is just.
Yes, there are
It's not
people that says
programming.
like
So,
no.
but at the end of the day, texting at conferences is one of the top topic
Yes,
because everybody needs it,
yes.
right?
Everybody needs it, and we need to think about ways to make it more effective.
Yep.
Sometimes a little bit of fun, which is difficult, but nevertheless we try our best.
Right.
So yeah,
So, what do you recommend women to do? Like, so now it's almost the end of the conference, but there is another conference next year, or you're part also of program committees at different conferences.
yes.
And so, in general, like, what are the steps that you could describe so more women can become speakers?
Okay, so first, there is a lot of people willing to mentor. So raise your hand, go there, and help. Second of all, think about what you already are doing or think about your stories. We value those. I mean, you don't have to be an expert. It certainly helps. And believe it or not, sometimes you are the expert, even though it's not so apparent. Um, be brave. Um, that's it. I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of women that have already everything. I was in the newcomer session by Anya. She's giving a session here, and her presentation, the first time it was her first presentation at the jog. I was there. Her quality, confidence, the level of knowledge that she had on that tool was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw her and I said, if we, all the speakers I know had her first experience, we were superstars by now. I mean, she gave it like a very seasoned speaker.
Mm-hmm. So I think so. I'm also in program committee for Code One, and I would say work with your jog. Do if you want to present on a topic, run that topic by people from the community. So the jog is a perfect place to do that. is go to your jog leader and say, well, I would like to know, like survey um, during a user group meeting, right? Survey the audience, like what do they think about the topic? How can you improve on that topic? And then start presenting as well, like start
Yes.
presenting for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, put
Yes.
something together and say, well, and go to your jog leaders and say, well,
Yes.
can I present this?
That there is
And
a
they will be
source.
very happy because it's hard for them to get new speakers all the time, and then they're forced to do their presentations, and so so there are a lot of opportunities there.
Yes.
If you submit a presentation and you get accepted, make sure that you present, like if you really care about one conference, make sure that you present 2 or 3 times before. And the way you do that, contact a local university and ask a teacher.
At your workplace. It's an excellent way to start with a new talk. That's what I do whenever I present a new talk. I go with my colleagues and I specify that this is the first time I give it. I'm unveiling my talk with you guys. Then they know that they have to, or it's encouraged that they provide feedback, but it has to be constructive feedback. And it's not long only like Ixchel, you had a awkward pause there, or maybe you can change the slide, or I do prefer that you put a list there, or etc., etc., etc. So you get different levels of feedback into different target areas. So that's why I suggest that also, even before the jokes, because you are spreading the knowledge in your team. Second of all, it's a more or less safe environment. I will hope that it's totally safe environment because you have a great relationship with your colleagues. And third is you get this feedback because they already know that they can be candid into the content
Yep.
and the delivery. And
Then you get visibility at work.
yes, so
Well,
win-win.
Exactly. So it's perfect. So 3 times. And then universities, contact the university. They'll be happy to have somebody from the field who is actually talking about a concrete
Yes.
example of what they do.
Yes,
Yeah.
in real life,
Exactly.
because it's a good exposure for students.
Right. Exactly. So,
Yes.
and then if you have any doubts, we're online. We're
Yes.
Contact
You
us. Twitter.
yes, for sure, for sure. There is a lot of speakers, a lot of mentors, people that are really in this industry that are open and willing to help and go
Absolutely.
beyond. Like you wouldn't imagine the amount of effort that it's waiting for you to ask.
Yes. So I created a couple of years ago. I created a Twitter list with all the speakers that I find about technologies because I got this question all the time. It's like, where do I find women speakers?
Yes.
I'm like, well, first of all, there are not that many, but there are plenty of people who also talk, but not necessarily at international conferences. So I created this list, and so if you think you should be on this list, contact me.
Yes.
My information will be actually also part of this interview. So
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, and if you write blogs or anything, I mean, I'm always looking for content as well.
Yes.
So because
Don't worry
yes.
of being more visible.
And just start like doing something. Like just do something. One
Yes.
step, right? But do something, otherwise nothing will ever happen if you don't start.
Yes. You will be surprised. There is a lot of people that are willing to be your ally.
Absolutely. And we are.
Yes. Thank you
Okay,
very much.
So see you online.
Yes.
Take care.